Hey guys, Hello Bella here. This is not an easy video for me to make, but I want to try again to do a 30-day sobriety experiment. And instead of posting videos weekly like I did before, I'm hopefully going to be posting at the end of my 30 days of sobriety. I know a lot of people are going to be doing Sober October, so this video should be coming out in October. It is September 22nd, and I've been sober all day. Just a couple things to touch on before we get into this. I don't drink every day, but I probably drink more than I should. And when I drink, I tend to make decisions that I would not make if I had not been drinking. And I don't know anyone who could really say differently about drinking. But for me, it is sort of problematic because I tend to binge drink whenever I do drink. And I binge drink and then I feel bad about it the next day, so I want to keep drinking, and it's just a really bad cycle that I've found myself in for actually several years at this point. I actually made kind of a little mind map about why I wanted to get sober. So I wrote relief from pain, have a better life, stop sabotaging my fitness goals, tired of feeling like this, I never planned to take it so far, losing control, feeling like I can't stop or I don't want to drink during the day. And once I, start drinking, it's really difficult for me to stop. So, yeah, that's a lot, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I've shared kind of some stuff about me when it comes to alcohol on the channel before, and I got pretty nice responses from people, but I think alcohol is like a touchy subject because it is socially acceptable, whereas if I was doing cocaine or heroin, you would be like, well, yeah, you need help. Obviously, you go out and you do this and it causes your life to, kind of have some downward spiral kind of thing. You'd be like, yeah, she needs to get some help. So one of the things that scares me the most about this 30-day challenge, or the most about like a sobriety experiment in general, is just the whole feeling of failing and feeling like maybe I'm not cut out for this, or maybe I can't do it, or, maybe there's going to be an event where I miss out on alcohol because I'm doing a 30-day challenge. And to be honest with you, I would love it if I never drank alcohol again for the rest of my life, but I don't know how feasible that is. And, for people who think, oh, it's just a choice, you just have to decide. And it's not so easy, especially for those of us who, like, if you come from a family like mine, you have generations of substance abuse. A lot of people in my family have had issues with alcohol, and it's been really hard to watch. It's been difficult to see them go through it. And I kind of always thought, like, maybe they just can't handle it. Like, maybe they're just, I don't know, they're just not as strong, or maybe they don't know when to cut it off, or, maybe they don't have very good sense about them. But, seeing it firsthand throughout my 20s has been really eye-opening, I guess, to say the least. I think I'm in the camp of people who don't like the word alcoholic and don't like to label themselves alcoholics. And the reason for that, I think, is that it puts a lot of stigma and a lot of shame and a lot of pressure on people to perform with an all or nothing mindset, like, oh, I'm either not drinking ever again, or I can drink fine, I drink like a normal person. And one of the red flags that I kind of saw in myself was, like, I started making up rules for drinking. Like, I'm only going to drink on the weekend. I can only drink after 6 o'clock at night. I can only have this many drinks. I can only drink when I'm with these people, or I can only drink here. I can't drink there. Like, it just got to the point where I'm like trying to come up with some equation to not overdrink. And then I realized, like, the only way for me to not overdrink is to not drink at all. I don't want to make this too long, but I do want to kind of document this 30-day experiment and kind of the process, the feelings, the vibes that I'm getting, because tonight, on the first, night, I feel okay. I feel really depressed, but I feel depressed a lot of the time anyway, so I guess, I don't know, it's not that big of a deal. But I do feel like the last time I did a sobriety experiment was almost a year ago. It was a year ago. It was August 2020. And I felt so good for those couple of weeks. I think I made it 24 days or something like that. And then this last time that I tried to get sober a couple months ago, I think back in April or May, I made it like 13 days. So all of those times were leading up to hopefully, you know, a more successful stretch of time. And I've heard this from a lot of people who post on Reddit. The Stop Drinking subreddit is really good. They say, you know, all of those attempts are still very good and very useful because they're contributing to that muscle that you're building up to say no. You know, it's amazing how many times a day or a week that you have to refuse alcohol when you are struggling with this. So I'm kind of excited. I may try to like document that as it happens. I just want you guys to come with me on this journey. I may never post this video. I don't know. I feel a lot of shame about it, and I feel like other people probably relate to that, but it's still, they're not the one making the video about it. So, you know, it's kind of like you're trying to toe the line between, do I make this to help other people and put myself out there and be vulnerable, or do I just keep this shit to myself and never talk about it on the internet? So I guess I'll make that decision when the time comes, but definitely filming this has been kind of cathartic already. So I can see how some people might want to be able to document this type of thing. I think more than anything, what I want to get out of this is just kind of resetting how I feel about myself. And I think a lot of what I do when I'm drinking has to do with insecurities and not liking who I am, not feeling comfortable around people, or trying to almost like anesthetize myself to the point of like not caring what people think because I'm too drunk to care. So with that being said, I guess I will maybe kind of let you guys know how it's going after about a week or so, and I'll check back in with you then. Hey guys, Bella here. It's day 5 of my sober experiment, and I am rounding the end of the weekend. It is Sunday afternoon, my first weekend in a really long time where I haven't gotten drunk at least one of the days, sometimes both days. It's kind of peaceful. I just sat on my porch and read for a little while. I went for a hike today. I went grocery shopping, and I felt a lot of peace today. I have not had a lot of alcohol cravings. I did have some things that I've noticed in the last couple of days. Alcohol was mentioned 2 or 3 times by different people to me, just casually, and I just kind of like let that sink in, you know, just kind of noticing it, not good or bad, just sort of like, oh, you know, this is a common thing that gets brought up. And I did notice today when I passed the alcohol aisle at the grocery store, I almost felt kind of disgusted by it. I don't know if that's just kind of me trying to wrap my brain around like what I'm choosing to not do anymore or something like that, but I did feel a deep sense of just almost like sadness and regret for how much of my time I've wasted drinking so far in my life, and kind of about reflecting on getting to the point of turning 27 in a week or so, and just kind of thinking like, I wish there's a lot of things that I did differently, and I wish that I had come to some sort of sobriety sooner, and, you know, just kind of questioning the whole, am I going to be sober for everything, which is a lot to think about on when you're only 5 days sober, and you're just trying to kind of sit with that feeling for a little bit. But the last couple of days, I actually downloaded an app called I Am Sober, and it asks you to make a morning pledge that you're not going to drink today, and then it asks you to do an evening review. In the evening review, you type like how you're feeling, and that evening check-in has been really good for me. I think you do the check-in at about 8 o'clock if you want to, or you can do it later or earlier, just depending on your preference. But I've been checking in with myself about 8 o'clock, and what I've noticed is that most of the days I am feeling pretty lonely, but I'm still feeling like really accomplished in being sober, and, you know, I'm not feeling a lot of pulls towards drinking alcohol. I think the main reason that I always sort of go back to drinking is just social pressure and situations where I'm going to be anxious and I'm going to have to like be around other people, and it just becomes sort of like an anxiety riddled drinking binge for me. And I think that, you know, going forward, if I'm going to go to social situations, I'm going to have some sort of plan in place to make sure that I don't drink, especially in these early weeks. I actually have been around friends and family for the last couple of days, and that has helped me. Haven't told anyone that I'm trying to be sober for 30 days, so I just kind of wanted to keep it to myself. It's something that I was not ready to share yet, and not really ready to talk about yet, even though I'm talking to you guys, but I haven't posted this yet, so it's kind of a weird feeling to describe, I guess. The app that I'm using actually is free, and it asks you to come up with a reason that you're sober, and every day it makes you look at it and read it for your daily pledge. And my reason was sort of like, I'm tired of feeling like this, I'm tired of waking up and wondering what happened, I'm tired of waking up and kind of looking around trying to put all the pieces to the puzzle together, and tired of waking up feeling like so much shame for binge drinking, and feeling like I'm lost control of myself, and feeling like I did or said things that I can't take back, and things that are not something that I would have done if I was sober. So that's kind of something that I've enjoyed getting to read and reread each day. I have a lot of social events coming up, so I'm kind of worried about that, but I'm gonna document the process of kind of in the moment of how it feels to be going through all of this, and I hope that you guys will stick with me throughout the video. I know that it's maybe not the most interesting thing if you're not trying to get sober, or if you haven't experienced sobriety, but for those of us who are trying to stop drinking alcohol, there's a lot of feelings involved and a lot of processing that goes on. I've had really crazy dreams lately, and just, I've really been in a place where I've had a lot of time to think, I've had a lot of time to process, and I think that, continuing going forward, one of the things that I did when I was feeling overwhelmed was to drink. So not having that coping skill is sort of leading me to want to eat more in the last week or so. I've noticed that I've been really thinking about food a lot, so maybe just kind of misplaced my one coping skill with another, but I try to give myself grace and say, you know what, it's okay if I eat a Pop-Tart, at least I didn't drink 8 beers. So, there's trade-offs with everything, but I just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit, but I'll give you guys another update in a couple of days. I saw this sign on my walk that said, "Men are not prisoners of fate, but only prisoners of their own minds," and I cannot think of anything more relatable as I'm going through this sobriety journey. I know a lot of the problems that I've faced are because I continued to make decisions to consume this substance that was not serving me in any way at all. So this evening I did a 3-mile walk downtown, and I just wanted to get outside the house, get outside of my comfort zone. So I did that, and I felt really, really good afterwards. I felt that sense of accomplishment that you get from a good workout, and I came home and made a really healthy supper, and it just put me in a good mood and got me really rested for the evening. Hey guys, it's day 6. I got a nice plate of food, about 550 calories. We got bacon, eggs, and tomatoes, and I'm proud to say that I walked 3 miles this evening and done a lot of reflecting. Coming up on day 7 tomorrow, I really am just proud of myself, and I want to continue this experiment and continue seeing how I feel after 30 days of not drinking. I know after a week of not drinking, it's hard to see a lot of effects, but I am starting to see some small changes in myself, so I'm going to keep going with this experiment, and I hope that you guys will stick with me. Hey guys, it's day 9 sober. I just left the nail place. I got my nails done because my little app told me that I've saved $40 since I stopped drinking, and that's probably a really conservative estimate. It's probably more than that, but I thought, you know what, I'm gonna spend that money on me, get something productive that will make me feel good about myself that doesn't involve drinking. I'm on the way to the airport to pick up my mom after this. She's going to be staying with me for 6 days, and typically we will drink together. We would go out to eat and get a cocktail, and we'd probably get a bottle of Prosecco and share that at home. So it's going to be a little different on this trip, but I did let her know that I'm not going to be drinking. She kind of understands my drinking issues. She's seen me take it too far before, and she's definitely on board with me cutting back on my alcohol intake. I actually had a memory pop up in my brain because the last time that I went to pick my mom up from the airport, I had the urge to drink that day, surprise, surprise, and I was trying to figure out how early in the day I would need to start drinking in order to pick up my mom from the airport sober. So that just kind of lets you know a little bit about the mindset behind someone who is a regular drinker, because that didn't seem like that big of a deal to me at the time. I just thought, I need to drink at around 2 o'clock, sober up by around 5 o'clock. It'll take me an hour and a half to get to the airport, and that kind of thought process was actually pretty common for me, to just kind of plan around my drinking. And I'm noticing in being sober for the last 8 days, and today is day 9, I'm noticing how much more time I have, and also how much more freedom I have when it comes to planning out my day. And I haven't gone anywhere that there really is a lot of drinking, but I think in the next couple of days I'm probably going to be forced into some of those environments, and it'll be interesting to see how my mind works. I've been doing pretty well. I haven't really had a lot of cravings. What I've been having some struggles with in the last couple of days has been thinking too far into the future. So thinking like, okay, when am I going to be able to drink again? Like, am I going to be able to drink this Christmas? Am I going to be able to drink next year on my birthday? Am I going to be able to drink for St. Patrick's Day? These are all just kind of weird little anxious thoughts that I've been having, and I'm really trying to just think like one day at a time. Don't get too far in advance. You really only can control today. So today I got my nails done, and today I'm going to pick up my mom, and that's all I can really control. I don't feel a strong urge to drink, and I know that being with someone who supports me sobering up is going to be really helpful in the next couple of days, because I am really early in this sobriety experiment, and I think that 30 days doesn't seem like a long time until you start going day by day and really analyzing it. I mean, I'm only roughly a third of the way there. I mean, tomorrow will be day 10. I'll hit you guys back when I have another update, but for now I am headed to the airport. Hey guys, it's day 11, and yesterday was the hardest day yet so far in my 30-day experiment. I actually wound up going downtown, which is a place where I usually go to drink, and went out with my mom because we were on kind of a vacation-y trip for her, and we went to like a little event, and then we went to a wine cellar, and my mom got one drink, and then my mom had some drinks at home. So I guess I kind of like felt a little bit frustrated that I couldn't drink, and I'm having a lot of thoughts about like, oh, maybe I should just stop doing this experiment. Maybe I'm cured. Maybe I can drink. I've just had a lot of like illogical thoughts in the last 24 hours about my sobriety experiment, and I've been able to fight off that will to drink. I noticed that the will to drink was the strongest when I was going into the bar with my mom to get her a drink, and that, I felt a little bit of just frustration and anger that I was not able to drink, but I was able for the first time probably to just sit with my own feelings about it and sit with myself for a little while and kind of think, wow, this is really a trigger for you. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but tomorrow is my birthday and it will be day 12 of this experiment. I'm getting closer and closer to the halfway mark, which makes me feel really good and kind of a little scared because I don't know what's going to happen when I reach 30 days. I know that tomorrow will be my first sober birthday that I've had probably in my adult life. I don't think I've had a sober birthday since I was probably like 15 or 16, which I wasn't getting like hammered on my birthday when I was a teenager, but I definitely was like sneaking a few drinks during my birthday whenever I was a teenager. And for the rest of my life, I think every year I've pretty much drank on my birthday. Before I started my experiment, I thought that it would be easier to go to like a bar or a restaurant with drinks than it was, and it proved to be really hard for me, and that's something that I'm going to have to continue practicing. Last night was the first time that I've successfully went in a place like that and not drank, and I'm about to go to a music festival for 2 days locally, and there's going to be beer there, so it'll be interesting to see how that mixes in with the experience for me being sober while there. But I do think that it's a good chance for me to practice this feeling of kind of sitting with this unpleasantness almost and kind of just taking it all in and being aware of the sensations. Most of the time I would drink to numb my anxiety, so we're just gonna have to raw dog life for a couple of weeks and see how it goes. Yesterday, when I felt the urge to drink, I did sit down and do some journaling, and just after one page of journaling, I did feel like I was able to kind of cut that craving down and kind of analyze those feelings and realize that I really didn't need a drink. I just needed to sort of calm down for a minute and cope with the stress. I actually bought myself a new pack of pens. That's something that you can do with all that money that you're saving not drinking alcohol. I told you guys the other day that I got my nails done. I've just been spending money on things that are fun and things that can help me in my sobriety, and maybe that's not the best coping mechanism, but it's working for me right now. Another thing that I've noticed since I stopped drinking is that I've been seeing and noticing alcohol everywhere. It's like everywhere I go, every movie I watch, every show that I watch, it's like they're taking shots or they're buying drinks, or if I'm going in a store, I immediately notice the end cap with the alcohol on it. And it's just kind of amazing how many times you have to look at alcohol per day, even when you are actively not drinking, and it's just kind of in your face all the time. And I did read a book not too long ago called called Quit Like a Woman, and she talked about that a lot in the book, about how our culture sort of glorifies drinking and they glorify overconsumption and binge drinking. And I do have a video about that in my book reviews videos, but I think that that is kind of interesting because that's what I've noticed in the last few days, that I really can't even get away from alcohol. Even trying to get away from it, not going to those places, just going to the grocery store, you notice that alcohol is like, even on the end caps where alcohol is not supposed to be, you'll find it. And I did notice that every show I've watched, pretty much, there's been some mention of alcohol, if not an entire scene or sequence dedicated to drinking alcohol. So that has kind of been something that I've noticed in the last few days. And I've also noticed just, you know, the community aspect of alcohol, how alcohol tends to bring people together. It's a reason for friends to meet up. It's a reason to let loose at the end of the day. And it's kind of going to be difficult for me to wrap my brain around finding a new way to have that sense of community and that sense of friendship and bonding with people. I'm about to start getting ready to go to a music festival. I'm going to Shoals Fest. Jason Isbell and the 400 unit are going to be there, and his wife Amanda Shires is going to be there. And I'm just really excited to go see one of my favorite performers and my favorite bands of all time. So I'm hoping that this can be a really great sober experience. I haven't been to a concert sober in a really long time, so I'll be interested to see how that goes. I've actually been to some concerts and gotten so drunk before the concert started that I don't even remember the concert, that I've paid probably upwards of $100 for the tickets. I did write down in my journal yesterday that drinking does not enrich my life. And I think that that is just something that I need to keep repeating. And that's a mantra that I need to remember, is that drinking does not enrich my life. Drinking does not make me a better person. I am a better person when I am sober. I am more clear-headed. I'm more focused. I'm more independent. I do have less anxiety, believe it or not, when I'm sober. So I think that that's just something that I'm going to have to keep repeating to myself over and over again.
What up, y'all? It's day 18. I got my coffee. I got my depression medicine. I got some donuts. I'm ready to have a good Saturday. And waking up sober is honestly the best gift of this challenge. Just waking up not feeling like complete dog shit every day has been really just a change of pace for me. Last night, I just could not get to sleep. I just kept thinking, I want something sweet. I want something sweet. So I got up and walked around the house, like, looking for something. And I didn't really have anything that was up to par for this level of craving. So I said, all right, just go to sleep. And in the morning, you go get some donuts, and then you'll satisfy that craving in a healthy, reasonable way. Maybe not the healthiest way. So I went and got some donuts. This is a maple pecan. This is a chocolate ice cream filled. And then this one over here is their new one. They've got like a orange creamsicle kind of flavor. And these are real donuts, y'all. This ain't no Dunkin' Donuts or Krispy Kreme. This is like a legit place. They wake up at like 2 or 3 in the morning and make these, and they're just the best donuts I've ever had. So one thing that I kind of realized was like, okay, if you're not spending like 2,000 calories a week on alcohol, you do have more room for some little treats here and there. So that's what I'm doing this morning. I'm treating myself.
Hey guys, it's day 21 sober, and I joined the gym. I'm in the sauna right now. It's a pretty cool sauna. It's like a little room that they have in both of the locker rooms for girls and guys. As you can see, I'm getting pretty red. I did an hour workout today, and I'm just feeling really good. I'm feeling a lot better about this 30-day challenge, and feeling like I've stopped questioning the reason behind it and started to focus more on, you know, what my life might look like after that. And I've really started to kind of think about, like, you know, saving drinking for special occasions. Okay, sorry, I had to put my glasses on. I could not concentrate because my lazy eye was going all over the place. I've definitely had a lot of time to think, and I'm thinking that, you know, obviously you cannot see the benefits of sobriety until a couple weeks and sometimes a couple months go by and you see how your life is getting different. So I'm going to continue to explore that, but I'm just feeling very thankful and very grateful on day 21. And I wanted to join a gym for a really long time now, and I just never have. I never had the energy, I never had the motivation. And, you know, 3 weeks go by and I'm like, well, let's just do it. Let's just join. And, you know, whether we go or not, I guess it will be up to me. And this is my 3rd day in a row of going, and I'm feeling really good. So that's day 21.
Hey guys, I've actually made the decision to end the video at the 21 day mark, even though it's day 22. And
I'm at the Birmingham Botanical Gardens today. Found a nice little spot here, so I'm about to have some coffee. I got the new iPhone 13 Pro Max, and I'm about to go try out some macro photography in the gardens. What I wanted to end this video on is a positive note. It's still a little bit awkward for me to film in public, but this is what we're working with today. Absolutely beautiful place, and I cannot be more grateful to be at the spot that I'm in, and I know that I would not be feeling so good if it wasn't for these last 3 weeks of sobriety. So I'm going to continue on to day 30. I'm going to make a separate vlog between now and day 30 to kind of tell you guys how I'm feeling in the 4th week of my sobriety. But I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching this video and staying with me. I know that, you know, this is not an easy subject for most of us, especially if you're like me and you've tried to get sober a bunch of times. It's just really hard to figure out how to live life without alcohol, and I'm still figuring it out day by day. But for today, I've got a beautiful landscape to explore. This place is free, and I've got an hour and a half until they close, so I'm about to go play with my new phone. Probably have a video about that coming out pretty soon, but I wanted to say to you guys that you can get sober and you can do a sobriety challenge or a sobriety experiment. So whatever you want to do, I encourage you to start now, because you really will see the positive changes in your life. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care until then.